Thanks for being here. Let's talk personal finances. So I have recommended this book to you. Like, if you've watched this channel, I've recommended this book to you at least 10 million, 100 billion, trillion, gazillion times. And like, please just read the thing, okay? It's Become Your Own Financial Advisor by Warren Ingram. It's set in a South African setting. I'm a Namibian YouTuber, so am I a Namibian YouTuber? I'm a person in Namibia who makes YouTube videos. I don't really think I'm a Namibian YouTuber because that's like a real thing and I just show up when I do. But regardless, I'm a person in Namibia, so Warren Ingram is South African, so obviously speaks a lot too. We have very similar histories and everything, so financial systems as well. So yeah, but apart from that, I want to talk to you about living within your means today in particular. So there are a lot of I'm not sure which one of the videos I'll post first, either this one or the one on boundaries, or I might just put them out on the same day because I am the boss of me and I do what I want. I might do that. Anyway, so I made a video about personal boundaries, setting boundaries, and you have to set boundaries, especially when it comes to like friends and family, when it comes to money and borrowing money and all of that, giving money, giving gifts. But a big thing about it is also setting boundaries for yourself. And if you're talking about boundaries for yourself, it has to be uncomfortable. In the video about boundaries, I talked about how uncomfortable it is sometimes to set boundaries with other people, but sometimes it's also uncomfortable to set boundaries for yourself because I just want to buy nice things sometimes, you know. But it's also not, you're stealing from yourself, you're stealing from your future self, you're stealing from the self, your present self, and the happiness and peace of mind that you get from not frivolously spending money on things you don't need or trying to keep up with the Joneses. So yeah, let's talk about living within your means and how it affects your mental health and how it affects your physical health. So yeah, so as we know, mental health is obviously connected to your physical health, very closely intertwined, and a lot of these things are connected to the way that you choose to make decisions in life, right? So let's say you earn a certain amount of money. I'm not going to use figures. There are like formulas you can use as to what you can spend, what you should spend on savings, what you should spend on like transport, so a car or taxi or whatever, public transport, what percentage of it should be for living expenses, accommodation and things like that, and what should be for gifts. There are all of these formulas and templates on the internet. You can literally go into Google Docs and get a personal budget calculator. You can do all of that. And it's important to do it because what happens when you don't live within your means and when you try to keep up with the Joneses is that you end up miserable, absolutely miserable. So you're stuck in a job that you hate because you can't leave it, because you have this extremely high mortgage, you have this extremely high car loan, and there's some rules of thumb that are like, if you can't buy it twice then you can't afford it and things like that. But I don't always believe that because I think you should be able to save up for stuff. So if you can't buy it twice in 1 month, but if you save up for it over 6 months, then like it's fine, you saved up for it and you want it. But you shouldn't get into debt for it. Like, oh my gosh, you shouldn't have clothing shop debt. I don't get it. Like, what? Anyway, yeah, there's certain things I don't think you should get into debt for. Things like furniture, things like clothing. I would recommend probably just like a home loan and a car note. I guess those are things that you don't generally have like hundreds and thousands or millions to just like throw in one go, but they should also be within your bracket or within what's reasonable to you. So if you don't have these rules for yourself, you don't use these percentages and really try to live within your means, then what you're gonna do is, as I said, end up in perpetual debt. And then you're gonna end up perpetually miserable. So what should you actually do? Okay, read the book. But truly there is a very good chapter on this type of thing. But apart from that, honestly, if I'm gonna give you a very short answer, look at your salary. Get one of these templates. I will link some templates below. Get one of these templates that show you the percentage to which you should spend on like every expense. and then look at your salary and see what is realistic. Do not say, I want to live in this affluent neighborhood, so I'm going to spend 80% on my salary on a mortgage or rent because I want to live in this affluent neighborhood. You cannot afford that neighborhood. But yeah, so honestly, just don't do that. Don't buy the most expensive car that you can possibly get from the bank, like the most expensive loan, because like a car is still a car. And the worst thing about cars is that and expensive houses is that you have to maintain them, and like the service for a car, that's like it'll make you broke. And of course this all links back to your mental health, because now you're stressed all the time about, oh my gosh, I hope, like the moment you hear a creak in the door, you're like, oh my gosh, I hope this is not going to cost me $10 million. Or the moment a light goes on your dashboard, you're like, oh my gosh, I hope this is not going to be expensive, because you can't even imagine, because you're just constantly in debt. So yeah, boundaries for yourself. Do that. Read the book. But yeah, do not set yourself up for failure. Do not set yourself up for sickness. So I'm going to close it off by saying this. You need to live within your means. You need to live within your salary. You need to be able to prepare for the future for yourself. Do not rob yourself do not rob future you of a life that is not stressful, and do not rob present you of a life that is not stressful. And of course, if you are constantly worried, you are constantly stressed, and your body will constantly be sick. So don't do that. All right, we'll talk again. Thanks.